you. Hello, I'm Sania Salman, live at TBC Talk. So whether you are a young professional or a professional, you're that individual who is always going to be exploring, engaging, and experiencing new opportunities. So when I think about that, there's one famous quote by Steve Jobs which comes in my mind right away, which is the only way to do great work is to love what you do. If you haven't found it yet, keep looking, don't settle. And to be honest, this quote has fully convinced me to think that the right career is what you're passionate about. This is why we have invited Mr. Taha Owais Khanzada here with us to talk about career development, whose famous motto is reaching out, enriching life. Hello Taha, it is a pleasure having you here with us. Can you please tell us a little about yourself?
Okay, Assalamu alaikum everyone. My name is Taha Owais Khanzada and I am a trainer by passion, salesperson by nature, HR person by profession, and of course a human being by name. And उसमें मेरा कोई कमाल नहीं है, उसमें अलग है कमाल. And thank you for having me here. And it's indeed a pleasure to be here part of the TBC talks. And it's really giving me an immense pleasure to contribute anyhow. The way Sania said, reaching out and enriching lives. This is basically the purpose statement of the organization where I work, that is Cleaner Group. So if you think about the statement for a moment, reaching out and enriching lives has so much to do with whether it comes to corporate, whether it comes to students. So in a way, I could say we can relate to it as what we are doing here is basically reaching out and enriching someone's life. So this is how it goes. Let's see.
Well, Mr. Taha, that was a very great take on that. Can you please start off by explaining a little about what you feel is career development and how can one pursue that in his life?
See, my personal take on this topic, career development, of course it would be my perception. Anyone can disagree to it. It's just basically a perception. So, career development is basically an individual's progression of your personality, your, you can say, knowledge, your skills, your abilities and all. So in a way, career development sums up that how an individual is growing, and it's about the career planning, career mapping of an individual, how we step into the corporate world, how we get on with that, and how we make our careers. So it's basically progression of career, progression of personality, progression of knowledge, progression of skills and abilities of an individual. That is something that I can relate to career development.
Thank you, Mr. Taha. This leads us to our next question, which is that since you mentioned career development means that you're progressing with that. So progression comes when you start from a certain point. So when we talk about starting from a certain point, that means that you get hired or you get a job जहाँ से आप अपना career start कर सकते हो. So do you think that Pakistan में जो unemployment issue है, as well as there are multiple universities जिनको hire किया जाता है, there are multiple organizations जो so how do you feel that जो ये rising concern है about getting selected from certain universities, this can be tackled or give a can you please say a little about that?
Yes, this is basically a very sensitive question, I would say, and it so happens in today's world that we see advertisements and you can say job ads targeting specific universities. See, different hiring professionals have their own norms, rituals, and experiences, of course. What I personally believe in and what I have learned from my elders, I would say my boss, that was, see, always hire for attitude and train for talent, right? That's what the core fundamental, or you can say जो बुनियाद जिसे हम कह सकते हैं of management training programs these days is they look for the right attitude for the right person with a balanced heart set, mindset and the belief set. The person who is willing to do something, right? Talent पे आप उसे train कर सकते हैं. You just need the right kind of attitude. It happens in today's world that people focus on getting a groomed person, groomed personality. Probably a BBA grad or an MBA grad, you will not find very much aware about the corporate norms, corporate culture, corporate values and all. But you can have a decision of hiring a person with the right mindset with a balanced, you can say, approach, with a balanced attitude. So this is basically the norm, and the way to go is you need to hire for attitude, a person who want to contribute something, whether he's talented or not at this point in time. But if he has a balanced attitude, probably he'll be grabbing lots of knowledge from the organization, from the corporate world and all. So this is basically a mistaken religion. Companies are hiring from a certain institution. So this is a misleading to candidate balance. But अगर हम आज के दौर को देखें, see, things are changing. Job market is evolving. Recruiters are getting smarter. Organizations are getting smarter. Jobs are getting replaced. It's a talent war happening around, right? So it's a talent war, you can say eruption having around us. So in my point of view, I would urge, you can say, HR people or the candidates to work initially much about the university tax. Obviously, at a certain point in time, it matters up to a certain extent. See, if an individual is graduating and he is applying for Unilever and P&G, probably the competition is too intense, right? And he might not land a perfect opportunity or a successful run. But let's see, if this individual is applying for this particular organization after 3, 4, 5 years experience, this is the chance of getting hired. I believe that is my take on that. So hiring from a particular university will might be, you can say, a gesture of partiality. In my viewpoint, that is.
Mr. Taha, I would also like to know that what do you think important to you are certain skills that is a must, to have in a person when they think about developing their career?
The first and foremost thing I would see is, in fact, how to do. If you can say, if a guy or a task, he or she should have the guts to communicate that, see, I have done this. There are a lot of people who are not very much, you can say, passionate to groom their communication skills. They are rather passionate to work, focusing on the execution. So I believe communication is a one, you can say, big area to work upon. Communication number one. Then we recruiters, what we actually see in, you can say, a person coming for an is most important. Your self-awareness, how much you are aware about yourself. You see, you must have been through that particular cliched questions, tell us about your strengths and weaknesses. That is just to know that how you know yourself. So self-awareness, communication skills, self-awareness, then you can say a fundamental thing is networking. Most of the people these days, you see, we are so much caught up in those, you can say, realms of introvert and extrovert, or introvert or extrovert के दरमियान का कुछ and all. See, when it comes to getting registered or branding yourself, you see, it's kind of a corporate branding, right? An individual, we all are like a product. So we are there for a reason. We need to market ourselves to become brand eventually, right? So in that way, particularly, you need to network, you need to reach out, right? Coming back to that particular cliched statement we started with very first, that is reaching out, right? You need to reach out, you need to communicate, right? You need to know yourself initially, you need to communicate. See, I'm capable of doing this and that, right? So that is, you can say, my take on these 3 skills. If an individual is about to step into the corporate world, you need to work on your communication skills initially. You need to have self-awareness about yourself. And number 3 is reaching out people, networking. So remember, that is again my viewpoint. I have learned it from my leader, that is Mr. Amin Rasulullah, my boss. You see, your network is your net worth, right? The amount of people you have in your network, that actually drives your worth. So that you need to work on that as well. So
like you said, Mr. Taha, that you yourself have also learned from your experiences. Just to be a motivator to many students, who are watching us right now, I would like you to mention few hurdles or a few situations in which you had to make certain decisions, or maybe certain situations just आपने जैसे सोचा वैसे हुआ ना हो, and that might have demoted you for that point of time. So how did you overcome that issue, and what were some of your experiences that you would like to share with us relating your career story?
Fine, fine. अच्छा आज कल एक dilemma है. There is a dilemma in our society. Whenever a person graduates, so they usually yell that, hey Unilever, hey Racket, hey PNG, I'm coming, I'm very excited and all. See, it's good to have a hopeful beginning that will keep you going forward, moving forward. But in my view, you need to start off at certain point in time, right? Instead of waiting for the great opportunity to come at a great point in time when you would be having a super successful life, that is probably, you can say, a facade, right? So you need to get going. So speaking about my personal experience, here I am soon after my intermediate, lying on a sofa, having a comfortable very first day of my vacations. You see, we youngsters always we try to look forward, we aim and we dream for that particular time जब आपको इंटर के बाद एक break मिलता है, right? We all are excited. So here is my uncle coming to me, and why don't you make use of your time? Why don't you do something about it? This is the very first day, right? So कभी-कभी जिंदगी में ऐसी कुछ बातें होती हैं जो आप पकड़ लेते हो. So I just hold on to that thought. Okay, so you advise me what to do. So he just said, here is an organization, energetic salespeople, right? Why don't you go there? Why don't you give an interview? You will have a flavor and experience of an interview. Probably get a job. Morning I was ready. I was all set to go for the interview. So my uncle told me, see, you need to be going there, and you will be meeting a person named Mr. X, Y, and Z. Right? So you need to communicate and you need to give an interview, be confident and everything, all the tips that we given, right? So I stepped into that room. I was super confident. That was the very first interview of my life. But since my uncle told me that you will be meeting this gentleman, right? So I was very much comfortable because I knew that man, and he started asking the questions and everything. So I was very confident. During the interview, a person knocks in and said some other name. So I was literally shocked that the person I was assuming is someone else, and he's a country manager in front of me. So I started to shiver a bit. But till that point in time, I might have convinced a little bit, right? So what actually happened, I got the job, that particular opportunity, that was sales-based opportunity. So I used to go out to architects, I used to reach out to construction sites and all, meeting with people, convincing them about this particular brand of paint we are having, right? So life was good, it was amazing. I was learning to network, learning to harness my communication skills through sales and marketing. But then I realized that if I will continue to do the same thing, I will probably do the same thing for the whole rest of my life. So I won that particular opportunity, and I joined Karachi University Business School for my MBA. So during that particular time, I still remember my ITB class. So teacher asked, what are your views about sales and marketing professionals and all? So people were like, बहुत झूठ बोलते हैं, they mislead, they misguide, and I was the only person standing, and I said, see, there can be ethical ways of doing marketing because I have been doing that over the period of time. So that actually helped me. This was my lesson number one. See, continue to wait for an opportunity might not take you at your desirable spot or desirable position, right? So afterwards, I spent wonderful time at Karachi University Business School, and then learning and development was the area that convinced me, that hooked me, and I thought that the statement you uttered, the best thing to do great work is to love what you do. So I realized that my passion and my love for learning and development, that actually brought me into learning and development and all. और उसके बाद एक सफर है, and I believe it's getting a bit longer, but it's very interesting. See, if you want to make something out of your career, for those who are listening and you all are listening, right? You really need to give in something. See, उसके बाद एक सफर है, and that is very painful, painstaking. My you can say inspiration, Mr. Amin Nasrullah, he posted an advertisement, job ad, जो ये कह रहा था need junior trainer. So that actually excited me, and I called him, sir, I really wanted to meet you. You have this opportunity, right? So उन्हें भी लगा I might be requesting and keen for the opportunity. So I just entered his room, I just you can say visited him. The seat पे बैठते ही पहली statement was, sir, I'm not here for the job. I'm in my third year, and 1 year is to go, 1 year more to go. So I'm in search of some learning. Can you give me an internship? So he said, yes, fine, we can do. मैंने कहा सर चैलेंज ये है कि 9 से 12 तक क्लास होती है, और उसके बाद I can render myself, जितनी भी energy I can give in for learning and development, for HR to learn and move forward. You see, people, Sania and everyone, Umema and everyone, 1 year, one gentleman with an inspiring personality, no money given at all. You need to give in something, right? And I gave my time for it, and that is the sole reason I started off as an intern at Premier Group. And alhamdulillah, over the period of time, with evolution, with you can say means of career development, and on the basis of certain skills, I am now leading the HR for this particular beautiful organization that is Premier Group, and it really inspires me. जो इस ऑर्गेनाइजेशन का फोकस स्टेटमेंट है, दैट इज रीचिंग आउट एंड रिचिंग लाइव्स. सो जो आपने बात की थी ना स्टार्टिंग में, आई टुक अ वेरी लॉन्ग रूट इन फैक्ट. जो आपने बात की ना चैलेंजेस क्या है, तो चैलेंजेस क्या है वो सुनिएगा. चैलेंजेस वर for about 1 year I was doing this internship, and that was unpaid internship, right? And so people used to come up to me and say, don't you think 1 year is a heck of time, and you are sparing your energy and knowledge and everything, and you're not getting anything in return? But there was one thing I was getting, that was, you can say, the corporate culture, the understanding, the knowledge, the platform. See, this is the area where I would like to emphasize, that is the platform. तो प्लेटफॉर्म आई बिलीव प्लेटफॉर्म की जो कदर है, कोई भी अपॉर्चुनिटी हो, एंड इफ यू फील यू कैन गेट इनटू दैट, you need to respect the platform. That is basically we all need to do, and I have been doing entire my life. Platform is, you can say, see, Taha Owais Khanzada, Deputy Manager of Premier Group, is beautiful. Who is Taha Owais Khanzada if we minus the platform? So platform is, you can say, very essential, I believe. So you need to get on, whether the challenges are whatever you see, whatever you face, you need to be very crystal clear that I need to get into the HR, I need to get into learning and development, I need to get into marketing. Don't derail yourself, right? But here is one interesting statement of Steve Jobs. You mentioned Steve Jobs, right? You cannot connect the dots looking forward, you can only connect them looking backward, right? So that particular sales experience of mine actually helped me somehow landing a great opportunity in this sales-based organization. See, Premier is basically one of the leading sales and distribution solutions provider. So larger part of our business, that is third P of marketing, that is placement, and that has a lot more to do with sales management, you can say channel management, and you can say making the product available. So this is basically the journey is. Probably you will not see the clear picture from the first point or the first step you take in, but as you progress, you will begin to see the bigger picture. So this is and a short story.
Thank you, Mr. Taha. It was wonderful knowing about your experience and about your journey. Like you mentioned that the journey is not so clear when you start from the very first step. So during that journey, what do you think are the factors that might influence an individual in making certain decisions about their career? For example, आपने कहा कि it can be marketing, it can be HR or logistics or sales as well. तो कभी-कभार एक individual बहुत confused हो जाता है about which field to choose और maybe उसका career कहाँ ज़्यादा grow कर सकता है. So do you think कि market में जिस चीज़ को ज़्यादा जिसकी ज़्यादा trend है, जिसकी ज़्यादा demand में, that is what you have to make choose as your career, or something that you're actually good at? So what's your take on this?
See, I will reinstate that statement again of yours. I really like that statement of Steve Jobs. the best way to do great work is to love what you do, right? See, just going for the trends and all, if it's not something that excites you, so probably you will not be able to make much difference into it, right? See, if you have the right kind of intent, if you have the right kind of intent with the right amount of influence, probably you would be able to make the right amount of impact. So that is basically a wonderful 3I philosophy. If your intent is clear that I would make my mark in this particular field, that is of HR, that is of marketing, and this is something that excites me. So एक छोटा सा phenomena है. You see, if you're good at something and you go for it, it comes effortlessly. You are not, you may not be able to inject that amount of energy, that amount of, you can say, rigor into it, and that would come effortlessly to you if you're good at it, right? See, the second thing is, if you're doing what you are loving at the same point in time, you are out of the time and space constraints. You see, my brother, in fact, my elder brother Osama, he has love for learning and development. So if you ask a gentleman, see, it's 2 a.m. in the night, you have a session in next 1 hour. Would you be able to do that? He said, why not? Because he's super excited for learning and development, and he is, you can say, amazingly convinced with the learning and development, and he's so into it. So if you love something, you are out of that time and space constraint, and you would enjoy doing it, right? And that would be, you can say, an area where you can make your impact.
That's a very wonderful take on that. Okay, so there was one more question that I wanted to ask you, which was that since now you know organizations' culture is changing with time to time, organizations are focusing more on team building as well as working in teams rather than making individuals work, because they feel that that when there is synergy, when there is more ideas flowing in, the work is thought to be more efficient. So what do you think? Working in teams can also lead to career development of an individual, या फिर team working जो है वो career development को limit कर देती है, since you're working in teams और सब एक साथ, there are multiple ideas.
See, my belief, let's start off with an amazing, you can say, जुमला मेरे जहन में आया as you were speaking. That is, you can say, one of our group companies having synergize to maximize. See, synergy has a beauty in it. If an idea, I put up an idea over here and we have 5 individuals in the room, so probably each one of these brave souls would have something to contribute, and that would eventually make this particular idea more refined. So in my point of view, when we talk about career development, your teamwork teaches you adaptability, right? Adaptability, you would be more adaptive, you would be more, you can say, listening oriented rather than speaking only. So idea sharing and adaptability, these are the way to go, and it really enhances, because you can say when we are exercising the teamwork or the synergy, we are doing one thing, that is cross learning, and that is a beautiful experience. See, if you are from IBA, you learn from some other institute, contribute to it because of your knowledge background. So I believe teamwork is an amazing area to go, and now organizations have moved out from that hierarchy philosophy to that networking philosophy. So different people, individuals from different departments come together to make this idea happen. That's a wonderful approach. Giving an example, recent example, in our organization at Premier, we have a beautiful project that is each year, that is our annual sales conference. So that is amazing. If you have been a contributing member of that particular annual sales conference, probably chances are very high next year you are going to lead the activity. But it's not only one department, it's synergy of departments. Usually we have committee member leading from finance. Can you imagine an introvert personality leading the conference from the forefront? See, that's where the magic happens. You maximize, and things begin to reshape you, begin to have new experiences. So this basically empowers us to exercise the creativity and all. So this is particularly my version on the teamwork that you were saying. Adaptability, and then you can say being open to new experiences. This is what teamwork teaches us.
Since we're live, we have few sets of questions that people want me to ask you. One of them being is, what what are the factors that can influence an individual's decision-making process while choosing the best career for them?
Sorry, if you can come again.
It is what are the factors that can influence an individual's decision-making process while choosing the best career?
See, I would relate if you are, you can say, in love with a particular field and you believe that you can do wonders in that, so it's better to go stick with that particular decision. See, हमारी society में एक अलमिया ये है, and people just you can say, whenever I abruptly say this, वो होता ये है आजकल कि मम्मा ने कहा HR ले लो, पापा ने कहा मार्केटिंग ले लो, और मामू ने कहा ये ले लो, पारो ने कहा सप्लाई चेन ले लो. So we fall onto that, right? See, lots of people make certain mistakes while choosing a career particularly. See, it's good that if you are having, you can say, multiple aspects of your personality, you are good marketer, it's good. But if you have a deep passion for learning and development, HR, finance, and you believe you can do it, see, काम वो करना चाहिए कि जो करते हुए आपको थकन महसूस ना हो, right? See, if you enjoy doing something, that will eventually lead to your interest, and you can make wonders in that. So that is my take on that. Hope I was able to answer the question.
Being able to answer that. Okay, so is there anything else that you would like to contribute, or which you would like to contribute or want our viewers to know more about?
Okay, so moving forward with the same, right? Going with my ideas, right? See, there are certain dilemmas in the corporate world these days. अक्सर students जो हैं, they are graduating, right? And they, जैसे कि आपने सवाल किया, should we wait for the right moment and all? But my point of view is you need to board the bus as soon as possible, right? See, if you're getting an opportunity from not so big organization,
Right.
it's okay, it's fine. It's good to have humble beginnings, right? That would eventually teach you how to deal with, you can say, people and have your experiences right in the particular manner. So instead of waiting for the big opportunity to come and you would spare your 1 year, 6 months, 8 months down the road, it's better to get onto the bus of career and move on with it. And moving further, अक्सर बेशर कुछ FAQs हैं जो कि बच्चे अक्सर सवालात करते हैं, वो ये है कि सर what if we join a career and what if हमें कोई opportunity समझ में नहीं आती and then we decide to change our career, तो इसमें क्या करना चाहिए? See, इसको इस तरीके से समझिए. In your career there are certain ages, right? Number first is your exploration age, right? You are exploring, right? The second one is your mid-career, right? Then it's your late career, right? So it happens 0 to 3 years of your career, as you can say, where you can go out, reach out, do experiments, you can change your field even if it doesn't excite you. But you need to be, you can say, defending yourself at the interview table. See, because of such and such reasons, I decided that I'm probably not a marketer, I'm not a HR person, I'm not a finance guy. So I wanted to explore, I wanted to make use of my time. That's why I joined the opportunity. But now I realize I'm a good fit for HR, for marketing or for that. So it's okay. In 0 to 3 years of your career, मेरे ख्याल में अगर HR person इस तरीके से समझें, तो it's a good thing. See, अगर एक बच्चे को idea नहीं है और उसने 0 to 3 years he made a switch or industry switch or a career switch, it's fine. He or she is learning. Let that particular garden grow, right? That's in my point of view. Let that individual experience. Now, students, 3 to 7 years of your career is your mid-career, right? Now you need to be cautious. Now you need to be knowing where you are heading up to. You need to be knowing, I'm an HR, okay, fine. I cannot jump into finance or something like that. That would give a confused impression of yours, right? So 3 to 7 is your mid-career. Of course, it's in my perception. And then 7 onwards, that is your core career. So you need to be loyal with your career initially, and that is the way to go. 0 to 3, do not hesitate in experimenting. 3 to 7, it's a mid career. You need to be special choices. And 7 onwards, that is your core career. You need to stick with it. You need to be knowing where you're heading up to, and you need to make a larger part of your life in that particular field. That is, you can say, particularly my take on that, and you may disagree.
Okay, Mr. Taha, we have a very interesting question here, and it is that normally when we think of development, those tend to overburden themselves. उनको लगता है extending to career development eventually. So यहाँ पे किसी development को achieve करते हुए, how do you balance your work and your professional life, and what are some of the work balance strategies that one should incorporate while achieving career growth as well?
See, this is an interesting question. I believe it summarizes work-life balance, right?
Yeah.
So sometimes it happens that people overburden, you have said rightly, they burn themselves, right, for getting into something and all. See, in your initial career years, probably an individual is on a verge of proving himself. Happens, we go all out. It's not an injurious sign, I believe. It's a very good sign. You are concerned about your career, you are good about your career. But see, your career will surround your life for the larger part of the life, right? So, if you are compromising on your health and your family and something, probably that would bother you in the longer run, right? So, Indra Nui, let me just quote Indra Nui here, CEO of Pepsi, and then she said something beautiful, and she said, whatever you are doing, throw your head, heart, and hands into it, right? But by doing so, we should not stop one thing, that is life as well. You need to live, you need to have that particular discussion with family for ourselves. And see, we are born in communities, so you are there to facilitate your family as well, facilitate yourself, facilitate the organization. Don't burn yourself, you do. So you are responsible, right? So invest your time wisely. It so happens that people these days are having lunch breaks, extended lunch breaks, and extended working. So you need to be very cautious about your surroundings. You need to be very cautious about your time. Before getting to know what exactly career, life, and work-life balance exactly is, I used to spend 9 to 9 in offices even. Right? That was a time, that was a phase I learned, I graduated, I realized that is very essential. But once you have established the credibility, then you need to have a life as well. You have a life ahead of you.
Right. So I would also like to ask you that, do you think organizations are actually working towards strengthening their career development plan, or is it only limited to individuals only?
It's an interesting question. It's not only limited to individuals, it is with organizations as well. See, every once in a while we see a job advertisement that is saying future leaders program, management training program. What is this basically? This is one way of giving an opportunity to young grads and to the people on board to escalate their careers further, right? Besides this future leaders program and management training programs, organization exercises a few things, that is rotations, promotions, rotations, you can say, and we have succession planning activities. You see, career development is an area where organizations themselves and individuals both are participating in order to give, you can say, employment opportunities, in order to make most out of their employees, and in order to make a difference, make a mark. So it's not only with individuals, it's with organizations as well, and it's a mutual responsibility. See, you can say, how do you build a bench strength, and a good bench strength in any organization? That is by giving such and such opportunities, by rotating your talent, by promoting your talent, by you can say having a succession plans, by you can say giving them a ladder to move, career ladders, career progression. These are the way to go. These are you can say that's how organizations are taking part into it.
Right. So, like you mentioned, that it is always a two-way thing.
Yes, two-way thing.
The individual cannot only entirely achieve on its own, but the organization help in developing their career as well. So, keeping that in mind, what are the few strategies that you would like to share with some organizations in order to help their individual grow? और what do you think a suggestion कि ये भी होना चाहिए जो कुछ organization अभी follow नहीं कर रही है? So what's your take on that?
See, I would like to be with little experience that we had at Premier in my organization that we exercised. There is a wonderful and beautiful platform in our organization just to engage young talent and young people. That is, we made most out of it. That is Premier PSF. So see, public speaking platform where people from inventory planning department, people from administration, people from HR, people from business development, people from different departments can come and they can share their thoughts and get themselves and others enlightened. See that these are the few areas that I believe that can help an individual to escalate and grow their career. Such forums in an organization, who's getting benefited out of it? Is it the organization? No, you yourself, your communication skills, your presentation skills, you are harnessing yourself, your personality development and everything related to it. So this can be an area where you can say organizations can engage in talent. See, if you want a fast-paced career, want to move, want to you can say run with your career, make the most out of yourself, interested, greedy for your personality development, come and join this particular speakers forum, right? Where you can benefit yourself and you can make wonders out of your communication skills. Secondly, that comes into my mind is you can say mentor and mentee programs like that. See, in organizations, people or employees are spending a lot of time with their line managers, right? So line managers can be a mentor as well. Line manager can be a guide, line manager can be a leader. Line manager is just so much. People usually blame कि भाई जो retention जो है ना उसका सेहरा HR को जाता है. If it's bad, HR is responsible. If it's good, तो HR is responsible. It's not like that. You see, 9 to 5 in any organization, employee or a person spending you can say a great amount of time with their line managers. So line managers can be a mentor as well. See, this can be a beautiful approach towards career development where line manager can actually guide, line manager as a leader, line manager as a mentor can guide the person. See, you are very good with this is the area you have. I would like you to move on to this particular area which would be a unique experience for you and your career, right? This would help individuals to grow, I believe. This is my take on these are, you can say, few of the strategies. तो बातें बड़ी सिंपल है, अमल कर लिया जाए तो असर बड़े हो सकते हैं. That is the way to go. Organizations can do that, and as we have been doing it. Alhamdulillah, training.
That was very informative. I'll just check अगर और भी कोई question है हमारे पास आपके लिए. पर्ची सिस्टम यहाँ पे एक क्वेश्चन आया है. I think it's again a sensitive topic, but I'd like to mention that what do you want to say about पर्ची system and what's your take on that?
जैसे बहुत नाजुक सूरत हाल है, बहुत नाजुक सूरत हाल है पर्ची and all. You see, this is a whole lot of science. You can say your assumptions shape your behaviors, and your behaviors will lead you towards consequences. So if you have a bad assumption or something like that, that will lead towards disaster. See, my belief about poetry is, I believe we were discussing before the interview and all, See, you need to understand this is your network, right? What exactly a Perchi is. See, if I'm hiring for my department, that is HR department, right? I have my industry contact. Firstly, we have a very beautiful personality, Mr. Muntazir sitting here. If I ask Mr. Muntazir, see sir, I'm hiring for my particular department, and अगर कोई काम का बच्चा हो जिसमें serious candidate हो, काम करना चाहता हो, wanted to do something out of HR, learning and development and all, please share me those profiles. While I'm asking Mr. Muntazir, probably I'm asking my another industry colleague, that can be Mr. Nadeem Ali Khan, yes, an interesting personality around in this one. So you can ask your contacts out there. See, I'll be needing a few profiles for an HR intern or marketing intern. What am I doing actually? This is not a purchase basically. I am reaching out to my industry contacts and I am asking them to help me. So how they will be helping me? If they are having the CV of Ms. Sanya, Umema and other people around who are very bright students and you can say anyone, an interesting experience. I have my recruitment guy, that is my HR officer, Jamal Jalil. He was serving for dollar industry. At the same human resource management professional with one of my colleagues, that was Mr. Zuhair, Mr. Zuhair Ashar Abbasi. So what we did actually, I just told him that I need an HR intern. So he said, I have an HR intern. His internship is about, he's aggressively seeking for an opportunity. He's a you can say knowledge set, skill set, and belief. I said, why not? I interviewed that particular guy and he got selected. And so जो पर्ची है, this is sometimes mistaken, misleading. बाज़ वक़्त ऐसा होता है कि you have the network and you reach out to your people, your industry contacts, asking them for help. And or the दूसरी, you can say the other side of the पर्ची is obviously we all know better. That is not the recruitment, that is directly the selection probably, and that is a different ball game entirely. So students के लिए मेरे ख्याल में out of this sensitive topic, a very important advice to everyone sitting here or listening there is have your network, reach out to people, don't hesitate to network with people, interact with people, interact with professionals, get to know what are the current job demands in the industry, what they are looking forward to, what they are aggressively seeking for. That can actually help you securing, you can say, a great, see that is one way of getting you can say hired or selected or recruited. If you have good contacts in the industry, probably they can refer you somewhere. It's not purchase, it's basically networking. I would say I would reshape that argument and that would be with networking.
I think you have beautifully explained the thin line that we have between source
It's
and
a very thin line, yes.
There's a very thin line, and I think I totally agree with the fact कि बहुत ज़्यादा कभी-कभार लोगों का perception एक बन जाता है कि if you're reaching out to your network, that is probably compulsory. So I think you explained that in a beautiful way.
Yes, it is a very aggressive approach. People who are maybe not getting good opportunities or something like that. बाज़ औक़ात ऐसा होता है तो they came up with an attitude भाई ये गवर्नमेंट बिक गई है, इधर कुछ नहीं होना है, nothing will change and jobs जो है वो ऐसी मिलती हैं, पर्ची पे मिलती हैं. See, this needs to be changed, I believe. If you are having, you can say, a sound presence in the industry, you know people, you have done internships, you have done, you can say, networking sessions. See, students के पास a wonderful platform that they can exercise is during your university days. You have guest speaker sessions, right? You have guest speaker sessions, you have public speaking sessions, you have industry professionals coming to your campus. That is a brilliant way to network. And probably you can ask them the right questions that you have inside your head. That is one way of starting, and you can say jump start your networking skills. That can actually help you eventually in your career.
That's true. Okay, sir, Mr. Taha, since we're talking about career development, we have a question related to that. कि आपकी डिग्री तो आपको मिल गई है, but curricular activities, short courses, certifications, and other certification in certain fields, वो किस हद तक मैटर या किस हद तक इम्पोर्टेंस रखती हैं while applying for a job. So would you like to say, would you like to comment on that? Is it only the degree or these are the value additions जो इंसान में होने ही चाहिए that will help them grow?
I salute the person who did it. It's amazing. See, each one of us, let's suppose if we are hiring for a management training, we have MBAs all around. यहाँ से पत्थर भी उठाए तो MBA and everyone. People are, you can say these days, very curious and passionate to go for MBAs and all from you can say famous business schools. See, what recruiter is actually looking forward to is you can say clarity and confidence, right? See, how do you get clarity? Clarity किस तरीके से आएगी when you know that this is particularly my field and you are doing the right thing, you are investing your time rightly, reading the right article, attending the right seminar, hosting the right event, organizing the right. These things really matters, I believe. क्योंकि एक MBA ग्रेड के पास what actually do you have to write on your CV? What do you have on your CVs? You have BBA, you have your MBA, you have your intermediate, you have your matriculation. If you have done it, great. Few of your projects that were interesting, you must have mentioned that. See, if you are having any certification, if you have attended any seminar, course you have attended in your recent past, you can add that. That would be a feather in the cap. See, let's suppose if I am hiring for management training, right? So there is this guy with management training, and he is and BBA, and other people are also MBA and BBA. But here comes a person who was a debater in his university days, who was an event organizer in his university, an entrepreneur or anything like that. He had taken certain risk in his university days, running something and all. These are feathers in the cap. If you have done, you can say आपने अगर कोई Excel का session attend किया है, you are certified. It's great. If you have done any English course, or if you have done any presentation course, if you have attended any conference, you can add that in your CV too, and that would be a feather in the cap, I believe, and that would increase, intensify, and you can say make your chances much higher of landing a great opportunity.
So you personally do believe that having these additional certifications and curriculum matters a lot for the recruitment as well, and as well as for the individual to jab wo growth ki baat kar rahe hain.
Exactly. You see, if a person is at this point in time, I believe मुझे याद आ रहा है Jack Ma. Yes, Jack Ma said something to his son, and that was amazing. It's fine if you are not in the first 10 students in your class. It's okay, but I'll be very happy if you take part in the other activities that we call co-curricular activity. See, this tells so much about your personality. You are, how much adaptive you are, how much flexible you are. Do you have that right kind of gel in with the people? So these things really matters, I believe, and you would be having a plus on your CV if you are having such certifications, if you have organized an event, if you have volunteered. It's good to mention that.
Right. Okay, Mr. Taha, thank you so much for sharing your inspiration journey as well as all the information you've shared, the tips you've shared when it comes to developing your career. Since we don't have any more questions, I would like to ask if you want to add something more to it, or is it all that you have to say?
I believe each one of us can contribute, and the way TBC is contributing, the way I am trying my level best to contribute. See, I just a while before the talk, I was having a beautiful conversation, in fact, with Mr. Muntazir over there, and it is the purpose statement, that is reaching out and enriching lives. Our organization, and this is just a statement, but if you reflect on it, it's such a powerful, commendable statement that can amplify your purpose in this particular, you can say, planet. Each one of us has something to contribute, right? So if you're having a knowledge, and you see, we all are not the ultimate source of knowledge, we are the pipeline. So knowledge has to flow through us. So if you are contributing, if you are enriching someone's life, that is a beautiful thing to do, and that is an amazing thing I believe, and that is my advice to you. And you need to shine, but you need to make people shine as well.
Right, and like you mentioned that it is a pipeline which flows throughout. So हमें ये भी चीज़ इग्नोर नहीं करनी चाहिए that pipeline has some connections. So
Yes.
हमारे pipeline का we need a certain connection to keep it going, keep it connected. So I think that's how all of us contribute to each other as well. And it is just not the efforts of one individual, but आपके mentors as well as your teachers, your line managers, and all those सभी contribute.
Yes. I have a very beautiful analogy for it, the way you said it. In an argument, I realized one of the colleague just abruptly asked, "What is life according to you?" Life, right? So I said, "Why don't you tell what is life according to you?" He said, "Life is like an ice cream. Make the most out of it before it melts." Right? He said, "Don't you think it's a very selfish approach if we say life is an ice cream and you need to make most out of it before it melts?" I said, "Don't you think life is like a candle, right? You are enlightening and your light flows and your light make others shine. That is a very beautiful approach of life and a wonderful explanation of life. So you are there to shine. We all are there to shine, and we are responsible to make others shine as well. You see, it's my responsibility that if I am sitting here at this point in time, probably the other time someone else from my own team might be sitting here, someone else is sitting here. This is an obligation on all of us to make people rise. So this, I believe, this is all I had to say. Anything else?
Right. Thank you so much, Mr. Taha. It was a pleasure having you here. I would also like to thank our viewers for watching us. There is a small token of appreciation for you for coming.
Thank you. Thanks again. Amazing. Thank you.
Okay, so I like to end this session by saying that no matter how many hurdles we face, no matter how many hurdles we come across, it is never the end. So we need to strive. We need to pick ourselves even harder to achieve whatever we want. Thank you so much.